down Israel, down, down USA, down, down Denmark. The crowd later shouts, Denmark Heil, down with democracy, all Jews should be killed, Allahu Akbar. And then the same Kaiba, Kaiba, Ya Yahud, etc., etc. Montreal, same thing. Again, Kaiba, Kaiba aux Juifs, l'armée de Mohammed va revenir. Whether in Melbourne, London, Washington, New York, or Amsterdam, the protesters look and act in much the same manner. If those who scream their genocidal Jew hatred are typical of the Muslim street in the West, they are, at least in appearance, neatly dressed and solidly middle class. I repeat this. These are neatly dressed people who are solidly middle class. They do not appear to be fringe people. Moreover, although the Muslim demonstrators have a very special animus against the Jews in Israel, they are in some respects equal opportunity haters, as was evident, for example, in their response on and after September 30th, 2005, to the publication of 12 cartoons depicting Mohammed in the Danish newspaper Jyllands-Posten. Before the ensuing crisis was over, several Western embassies had been torched in Muslim lands, and more than 150 people, mostly Muslim, were dead in the demonstrations. And one particular clip that I want to give you, this is in London, February 24th. The crowd shouts Allahu Akbar in front of the Danish embassy, and then a poster is held high which reads, Europe, you will pay, your annihilation is on the way. Other signs read, death to you by God, may Allah bomb you, may Osama bin Laden bomb you. We love Osama, Osama bin Laden, we love you. Osama and Ayman al-Zawahiri, who is his second in command, they are men, they will bomb you, Allah will be with them. May they bomb Denmark so that we can invade their country and take their wives as war booty. Europe, you will come crashing when the mujahideen come roaring. Annihilate those who insult Islam. You have declared war against Allah and his prophet. Someone chants, you have declared war against the Muslim Ummah, for which you will pay. It goes on like this. Now, in recent years, there have been laws prohibiting hate speech enacted in countries like the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, and other Western countries. The chief complainants in the alleged hate speech cases have invariably been Muslims, and their targets have often been serious writers, as in the Canadian prosecution, I said persecution, but it was persecution, of prominent writers such as Mark Stein, who writes for a very fine magazine, New Criterion, and Ezra Levant. Moreover, for the past 10 years, the Saudi-based Organization of the Islamic Conference has pushed the UN to adopt a universal ban on defaming Islam. At the same time, a critical mass of Muslims feel perfectly free to call for mass murder and genocide of Jews with no concern that public authorities might enforce hate speech laws against Muslim offenders. On the contrary, at least in the United Kingdom, the police have done much to avoid any kind of confrontation with the demonstrators. For example, there is a YouTube video taken during the London Gaza demonstration, in which the Muslims chased as many as 50 retreating policemen, British policemen, through the streets, while the Muslims chant free speech, Palestine, and Allahu Akbar, as the police cede control of the streets to the demonstrators. A demonstrator leader shouts, and I'm going to give you the exact vulgarity, "Run, you fucking cowards, kuffar and swine, pigs." I discussed the behavior of the London police running away in an email with an English colleague, and his answer was, the whole demonstration was totally unruly, menacing, and disorderly, and if the police had stopped it, they would have been accused of breaking up a peaceful protest. And the YouTube footage would only have shown the police reaction to the violence and nonviolent protesters being attacked by out-of-control cops. We might also consider a related issue, and that is what I call Western anticipatory compliance with Muslim norms and demands, thereby limiting or eliminating the legitimate freedom of non-Muslims in their own country. There have been, for example, a number of situations in which American citizens have been asked by public authorities to avoid doing something because of a likely negative Muslim reaction. One example of this, not by a public authority, but by Imam Ralph, the imam of the proposed 9/11 mosque, he declared that failure to permit the construction of the controversial mosque in that location would result in, quote, danger from the radicals in the Muslim world to our national security, also to the national security of our troops. The imam did not issue a direct threat. Nevertheless, the threat was implied. Now, the proposed burning of copies of the Quran, and from what I could discern from the video that I saw, there were no Arabic Qurans, which have a special holiness. They were paperback copies of translations on September 11, 2010, by the pastor of a very small Florida church, caused even the President of the United States to react. He warned that such an event could increase the recruitment of individuals who would be willing to blow themselves up in American cities or European cities. Similar warnings were issued by Secretary of State Clinton and General David Petraeus. The latter warned that such acts could endanger troops and it could endanger the overall war effort. There is also his testimony to the Senate committee in March, in which he suggests that unless the Arab-Israeli conflict is solved, there will be danger to the troops, and it's not at all clear that he took into consideration any of the reasons why the Israelis might not be willing to sign on the dotted line. Now, it is my opinion that the three officials made a very grave mistake in responding as they did. Given their elevated status, they turned a minor incident into an international cause célèbre. If they felt compelled to speak, they could have expressed their strong disapproval of the burning of the books, especially religious books, on behalf of the American people, and left it at that. Instead, they voiced their apprehension that the pastor's actions could lead to numerous injuries and deaths of Americans and their allies. Put differently, they warned Americans to take heed of Muslim sensibilities, even in minor matters. But both the Jyllands-Posten, that is the Denmark Muhammad cartoons, and the Salman Rushdie affairs should have told them that the opportunities for arousing Muslim ire are all too numerous. Moreover, they made American freedom hostage to the incendiary emotions of the Muslim street. Were the Israelis, for example, to become convinced, as they may have to be, that their survival depends upon preemptively taking out Iran's nuclear establishment, it is very likely that the same voices would be heard and others at the highest levels of government and the military saying that the Israeli actions have endangered American lives and seriously compromised our military position in the Middle East. If the Israelis take out the part of the Iranian nuclear establishment, you can be sure that what they will receive in the way of harsh criticism and condemnation will be far worse than what happened when they took out Osirak in Iraq years ago. By contrast, when 15 Muslim suicide bombers did catastrophic damage on 9/11, the American president was quick to assure the American people that a few extremists had hijacked a religion of peace, even as there was rejoicing in the Muslim street as al-Qaeda's victory. And there is a very important book by Raymond Ibrahim, who works for the Middle East Forum these days, the Al-Qaeda Reader. There's some very good material in this. And he has some candid articles or speeches of Osama bin Laden, who says it is nonsense to think that there was not genuine rejoicing throughout the Muslim world at 9/11. And as a matter of fact, we know that the Palestinian Authority, after 2 hours of joyful celebration after 9/11, took the TV of those scenes off the air. Now, 9 years later, this year, the president of the Islamic Republic of Iran stood before the General Assembly of the United Nations and declared that some segment within the U.S. government orchestrated the attack to reverse the declining American economy and its grip on the Middle East in order to save the Zionist regime. The delegations of the United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Costa Rica, and all 27 members of the European Union walked out, but no Muslim delegation saw fit to join them. And this was the worst, most traumatic assault on American soil since Pearl Harbor. Now, there's something wrong, very wrong, when our public officials are ultra-sensitive about Muslim feelings and then either make excuses for or ignore what goes for reciprocation. One of the worst people in this, I won't speak of Barack Obama, but John Brennan, his director of security, is a veritable horror. And he makes his pro-Muslim stands as clear as he can in every one of his press meetings. Jerusalem isn't Jerusalem, it's Al-Quds. There is no such thing as jihad. He gives every possible excuse. And this is the man that Barack Obama has chosen and retains as his national security advisor. Okay.